So a while back I watched the movie 300. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's basically extremely muscular, half-naked, oiled-up men fighting endless hordes of Persians in front of a green screen. 10 out of 10. But this movie did get the history nerd part of my brain tingling, because surely this Lorgar Aurelian looking ass dude commanding an army of slaves isn't an accurate representation of ancient Persia. And yeah, no, it isn't. If you clicked on this video to hear me talk about bald dudes with inhumanly deep voices, I'm gonna have to disappoint you. On a lighter note, the Persian Empire is actually really interesting. Just to clarify, this video is about the first Persian Empire, otherwise known as the Achaemenid Empire. This is the OG Persian Empire, the one that invented the refrigerator and the one that gave the Israelites a free multiple generation vacation. This empire could at one point be considered the most powerful nation on earth. That is, of course, until some bisexual guy named Alexander decided to eat half the entire known world for breakfast. Anyway, because this empire existed so long ago, there are very few surviving sources that describe its culture. One source that did survive the ages is the ancient Greek historian Herodotus, who, fun fact, was very racist. Still, if you keep in mind the fact that this was written from an ancient Greek perspective and that some things might be a bit exaggerated, it's actually a pretty good source. One thing that stood out to Herodotus is the Persian decision-making process, which is actually pretty genius. The process consisted of 2 steps. Step 1. Get absolutely shit-faced and make the decision. Step 2. Wake up with the biggest hangover known to man and make the decision again. If you make the same decision both drunk and sober, then it's clearly a good idea and you should do it. If not, then it gets shelved until the next binge drinking night. Moving on to the next cultural oddity. Everybody kisses their homies from time to time. Turns out, so did the Persians, who were known to have a rather complex kissing etiquette, with the place where kisses were given being indicative of the person's social ranking. For example, a good old smooch on the lips meant you were equals, while a kiss on the cheek meant that the person on the receiving end was of a slightly higher standing. I can only imagine how that would go. Oh, hi officer. For the 4th time! Wrong kind of cheek! This next fact goes out to all the libertarians in my audience. Do you hate the fact that after working hard all year, the government takes away part of your income to pay for such frivolous things as education, healthcare, or law and order? Well, all of that is very indirectly the Persians' fault. The empire's founder, King Cyrus the Great, is credited with being the creator of the first system of taxation. Now before you all start furiously masturbating in the comments about how taxation has been a thing for many centuries prior to King Cyrus, I know. The idea of giving your king some arbitrary amount of harvest, gold or cattle had been around for a while longer. But in those systems of taxations, all taxes went directly to the king's coffers and the amount owed could vary widely year over year. This was very different under Cyrus' system. Taxes were to be paid to the state instead of the king, and these funds were used for anything ranging from financing the army to some of the ancient world's most ambitious megaprojects, like a road across the empire or a proto-version of the Suez Canal. And each of the satrapies, which were basically the Persian equivalent of provinces, had to pay different kinds of taxes suited to what the satrapy was good at. For example, Egypt was the empire's breadbasket and therefore had to supply grain, while India was known for its gold, so it paid its taxes in gold. Apart from taxation, there were many other ways the Persian Empire was ahead of its time. For example, women's rights, freedom of religion, and creating the first known charter on human rights. Surely those who inherited this empire's land still value these things. Let me just Google women's rights in Iran. Oh no. But the Persians weren't just innovative on the social front. They were just as creative when it came to killing their fellow man. The Persian army was the first of its kind to use uniforms, which was revolutionary, because finally you can see in one glance if you're stabbing the right guy or if you're on a straight path to getting court-martialed. But what made the Persian army so feared wasn't one single invention, it was their willingness to adopt new things. Their army was more diverse than a Hollywood remake of a widely beloved movie, and the Persians let every group do what they're best at. While the Romans built their navy through a lot, and by that I mean a lot of trial and error, the Persians just enlisted some Phoenicians and Greeks to build them a world-class navy. To be fair, They didn't really have a choice. I mean, good luck building ships when most of your empire looks like this. But it wasn't just their navy. When King Darius I encountered war elephants in the Indus River Valley, before the shit in his pants was even dry, he made plans to add them to his army. So, what did we learn? The Persians were pretty cool, I guess. And I guess I'll see you next time.